we're going to read to you from the Urantia book. But first, here we got 365 Days of Walking the Red Road by Terry Jean. By the way, you know me, I'm Kim.
I'm Andy.
Yeah, you betcha. You betcha. We want to be anywhere else doing anything else, right?
Right. And today we're going to hear from Wilma Mankiller, first woman elected Cherokee deputy chief. She said, I believe that ancient tribal churches have important lessons to teach the rest of the world about the interconnectedness of all things and the simple fact that our very existence is dependent upon the natural world we are rapidly destroying.
Yes, Wilma Mankiller.
And then
The Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. Translation by Derek Lin.
when it is peaceful, it's easy to maintain. When it shows no signs, it is easy to plan. When it is fragile, it is easy to break. When it is small, it is easy to scatter. Act on it when it has not yet began. Treat it when it is not yet chaotic.
Right. So deal with the things in the bud. Nip it in the bud before it blooms. I think that's what it's saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is relatively easy to maintain a situation when everything is peaceful and quiet, when the possibility for chaos is nearly non-existent. It is simple to keep everything in check. Generally speaking, it is always easier to act on something effectively when it is small. It's best to nip a potential problem in the bud so it doesn't get the chance to grow into something serious. Yeah.
A tree thick enough to embrace grows from the tiny sapling. The tower of 9 levels starts from the dirt heap.
This same principle extends to many aspects of life. The mightiest trees start as a small shoot, barely noticeable on the ground. The tallest building had to be built from the ground up. There was a time when it was nothing more than a pile of dirt brought to the site in preparation for construction to begin.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet.
The greatest, most epic journey you can undertake must still must begin where you stand. Similarly, great deeds can have a small, indeed humble beginning. When we keep this great wisdom in mind, it becomes easier for us to overcome inertia and take that first step. The ancient Chinese measurement of distance, li, is loosely translated as a mile. 1 li is about half a kilometer and roughly a third of a mile. Many people know the expression, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. They may not know that it originally came from this chapter. Some may be aware that the saying is Chinese in origin, but mistakenly attribute it to Confucius. Another interesting thing to note is that the popular expression is, in fact, a mistranslation. The original contains no character for one or step. What it really says is that the little piece of ground beneath your feet is the starting point of a long journey. Just like tall trees and great buildings have small beginnings.
The one who meddles will fail. The one who grasps will lose. Therefore, sages do not meddle and thus do not fail. They do not grasp and thus do not lose. People in handling affairs often come close to completion and fail. If they are as careful in the end as the beginning, then they would have no failure. Therefore, sages desire not to desire. They do not value goods that are hard to acquire. They learn to unlearn, to redeem the fault of the people, to assist the nature of all things without daring to meddle.
Okay. Yep. Be who you really are. Go where your heart leads you. Even if it's a great journey, take that step. Go on that journey and you're going to find a lot of treasures. Okay, well, Urantia book, we're on Section
Paper 50.
Paper 50, Section 3, the Prince's Corporeal Staff. On going to a young world, a planetary prince usually takes with him a group of volunteer ascending beings from the local system headquarters. These ascenders accompany the prince as advisors and helpers in the work of early race improvement. The core of material helpers constitutes the connecting link between the prince and the world races. The Urantia prince, Caligastia, had a core of 100 such helpers. Such volunteer assistants are citizens of a system capital, and none of them have fused with their indwelling adjusters. So they're fallible. They are. Okay, right? So they're just helpers. They're on like an assignment here to see what you can see. So the status of the adjusters of such volunteer servers remains as of the residential standing on the system headquarters, while these Urantia progressors temporarily revert to a former material state. Because probably once you're fused with your adjuster, probably you're not able to be, you know. So here they're like just helpers.
Hmm.
People have come back here to like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
The life carriers, the architects of form, provide such volunteers with new physical bodies when they occupy for the periods of their which they occupy for the periods of their planetary sojourn. These personality forms, while exempt from the ordinary diseases of the realms, are like the early Urantia bodies, subject to certain accidents of a mechanical nature. So they don't really get diseases, but they can fall down and get paralyzed or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and they're like avatar bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So the bodies are the DNA is taken from people that are around them here. Remember, and we talked about how they've got like they'll have one DNA to make an avatar, and then they'll have a twin that is actually their working with who donated that DNA, who's like just a mortal person there, like a cave person, right? Like a like so it's like so you are you or are you the same person, right? Which one are you, the divine one or are you like the regular one, right? Okay. It's so weird. It's so fascinating. Yeah. Okay. The Princess Corporeal staff are usually removed from the planet in connection with the sun's arrival on the sphere. Okay. So when we get, well, here we got the Michael sun, but usually they get like a magisterial sun, a avonal sun, a lower level of a divine sun that will come here. Most planets do. So at that time, then these people, but until that person is there, they're kind of ruling there on that behalf there. Yeah. Okay. The Princess Corporeal staff are usually removed from the planet in connection with the next adjudication at the time of this second sun's arrival on the sphere. Right? Before leaving, they customarily assign their various duties to their mutual offspring and to certain superior native volunteers. On those worlds where these helpers of the prince have been permitted to mate with superior groups of the native races, such offspring usually succeed them. So there are like superior races and stuff of beings here. But I think that what's lost here is the attitude of fostering or caring for the undeveloped or less capable races. That's exactly it. Instead, here we go through this, well, the lower races exist to serve the higher races, and that's not it. No, even though there are more privileged, more developed races, your bugs are starting to bite you. Okay, so read that last part, then we'll go. Okay.
These assistants to the planetary prince seldom mate with the world races, but they do always mate amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Two classes of beings result from these unions: the primary type of midway creatures and certain high types of material beings who remain attached to the prince's staff after their parents have been removed from the planet at the time of the arrival of Adam and Eve. These children do not mate with the mortal races except in certain emergencies, and then only by direction of the planetary prince. In such an event, their children, the grandchildren of the corporeal staff, are in status as of the superior races of their day and generation. All the offspring of these semi-material assistants of the planetary prince are adjust or indwelt.
Okay. So that at that point there, so they're indwelt, but not necessarily merged, right? Okay, go ahead.
At the end of the prince's dispensation, when the time comes for this reversion staff to be returned to the system headquarters for the resumption of the Paradise career, these ascenders present themselves to the life carriers for the purpose of yielding up their material bodies. They enter the transition, slumber, and awaken, delivered from their mortal investment, clothed with Urantia forms, ready for seraphic transportation back to the system capital, where their detached adjusters await them. They are, they are a whole dispensation behind their Jerusalem class, but they have gained a unique and extraordinary experience, a rare chapter in the career of an ascending mortal.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. You want to do that? You want to come back here as an ascending mortal, and or not here necessarily, but on some planet, whatever, and help with the merging people there.
Everything, everywhere.
Yeah. You can do that. We can do that together, maybe. That'd be so cool, right?
Good.
And who knows what kind of situations they're living under, whatever. And we'd have to help teach them how to make fire and how to here. This is how you do a wheel. This is how you make a basket. You have some grass here, and you can put that together here with this, and I can teach them how to crochet with string. Okay, or we'd have to first make the string, and you could shave these are the beasts you can domesticate, and these are the ones you need to be afraid of. Stuff like that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being with us. We have to go see my mom and dad. Yeah. Cool. Okay. And we have to treat mosquito bites because we have deadly mosquito bites. They're actually life threatening. You have no idea. Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.